London. Promises by the US government that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange would not be subjected to harsh prison conditions if he is extradited to face American justice are not enough to address concerns about his fragile mental health and high risk of suicide, a lawyer defending him argued Thursday. Assange's lawyer, Edward Fitzgerald, said during a two-day hearing at Britain's High Court that the Australian was too mentally ill to be extradited to the United States to face trial on espionage charges. The United States government is seeking to overturn an earlier ruling by a lower British court that refused a US request to extradite Assange over WikiLeaks' publication of secret American military documents a decade ago. District Judge Vanessa Barretza ruled that Assange was likely to kill himself if held under harsh US prison conditions. On Wednesday, a lawyer for the US government said that American authorities have promised that Assange would not be held before trial in a top-security supermax prison, subjected to strict isolation conditions. He also said that if convicted, Assange would be allowed to serve his sentence in Australia, his home country. But Fitzgerald argued that the US assurances were all caveated, vague, or simply ineffective. They do not remove the risk of Assange being detained in extreme isolation in the US in the long term, he said, and the risk of Assange killing himself remains substantial if he is extradited. It is perfectly reasonable to find it oppressive to extradite a mentally disordered person because his extradition is likely to result in his death, he said. He added that judges should use their power to protect people from extradition to a foreign state where we have no control over what will be done to them. In a written submission, Fitzgerald also said that the assurance that Assange could be transferred to an Australian prison if convicted is meaningless. Australia has not indicated its consent, and the process could take a decade or more, he argued. U.S. prosecutors have indicted Assange on 17 espionage charges and one charge of computer misuse over WikiLeaks' publication of thousands of leaked military and diplomatic documents. The charges carry a maximum sentence of 175 years in prison, though a lawyer for the US government said Wednesday the sentence could be much shorter. Assange, 50, is currently being held at London's high-security Belmarsh prison. He did not attend the hearing Thursday, although on Wednesday he appeared by video link at times. The hearing was the latest in Assange's long-running battle to fight extradition to the US. American prosecutors say Assange unlawfully helped U.S. Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning steal classified diplomatic cables and military files that WikiLeaks later published. Assange's lawyers argue that he was acting as a journalist and is entitled to First Amendment freedom of speech protections for publishing documents that exposed U.S. military wrongdoing in Iraq and Afghanistan. His supporters also argue the prosecution case was politically motivated. About 80 supporters staged a noisy rally outside the London court ahead of the hearing, playing music and chanting "Free Julian Assange." Jeremy Corbyn, former leader of Britain's opposition Labour Party, said outside the court that Assange has told the truth about Afghanistan and Iraq, and that he should not be flown to the US under any circumstances. He has committed no crime and he is in a maximum security prison. If he moved to the United States he may well, because of his mental health condition, take his own life, Corbyn told reporters. In a different country he would be hailed as a whistleblower who told the truth about the dangers we are all facing, the dangers the whole world is facing. The two-day hearing before two judges, including England's most senior judge Lord Chief Justice Ian Burnett, ends Thursday, but a ruling is not expected for weeks. The losing side could seek to appeal to the US Supreme Court. Assange has been held in a high-security prison since he was arrested in April 2019 for skipping bail during a separate legal battle. Before that he spent 7 years inside Ecuador's London embassy, where he sought asylum in 2012 to avoid extradition to Sweden to face allegations of rape and sexual assault. Sweden dropped the sex crimes investigations in November 2019 because so much time had elapsed. The judge who blocked extradition in January ordered that he must stay in custody during any US appeal. Ad block test. Why?